Hello and welcome to Bryan Living and Learning. I'm Alan Brugman from the City of Bryan's Communications Department.
And I'm Sandy Ferris with Bryan ISD. Today we'll tell you about the Hard Hats for Little Heads program, and we'll showcase some talented artists at Bryan High and Rudder High Schools.
And the City of Bryan will show you some development projects that are ongoing in our community, and we'll tell you about some of the recent honorees at Bryan Police Department's annual banquet. But before we get to those stories, once again this year the Bryan Municipal Court is participating in the state of Texas's Warrant Roundup. Here's what you need to know if you have an outstanding warrant.
We had 36 aged 30 to 40. Between ages 40 to 50 was in the month of April.
All I got to do is go to the house and put my stuff together and...
Excuse me, Miss Smith?
Yes. Is this about that warrant?
Don't let an outstanding warrant interrupt your life. Beginning on March 5th, Bryan officers will be actively arresting individuals with outstanding warrants. To resolve your case, contact the court in person, by mail, online, or by phone.
Well, Alan, I've heard of amnesty programs for warrants before. How is this one different? Well,
with this program, you're still going to have to pay all the fees associated with your ticket or with your outstanding warrant. The real benefit is, though, if you take care of it before the roundup, you don't have to go to jail.
Well, for the third year in a row, all Bryan ISD second graders have received bicycle helmets through the Hard Hats for Little Heads program. And the best thing of all, they've been provided free of charge at no cost to the students or the district.
About 2,500 second grade students from the Bryan, College Station, and Navasota school districts attended the third annual Hard Hats for Little Heads event held at the Texas A&M McFerrin track facility on February 22nd. School mascots greeted the students, and about 40 Texas A&M student athletes demonstrated how their helmets protect them in practice and competition.
3 years ago, Dr. Andrew DeJong decided that needed something awareness of helmets, and his goal was to get the helmet in the hands of every second grade student. We've done it 3 years, over 6,000 helmets as of this year will be given out. Dr. DeJong got all the Bryan College Station School District and also A&M athletes involved in the program. So, and it's been 3 years, this is our third year.
Do eggs break easily? Yes, and so can your brain. That's why we want you to wear helmets. So we're going to put the egg inside. You need to strap your helmet on properly so that when you're riding your bike and you're going along, and if you hit a bump and you would fall, what do you think might have happened to your brain? Let's check and see. Did that egg break? So do you think if you're not wearing a helmet, what might happen? Do you think we should try? Ooh, what if that brain breaks? We'll try it. Okay, so next time you go out and you ride your bicycle and you're riding along and you say, uh-oh, I forgot my helmet. Do you think it's a good idea to stop and put it on? Yes, because if you would fall off, what might happen to your brain? That wouldn't be a pretty sight, would it?
It's no cost to the district. Academy donates partial. There are sponsors. Wells Fargo, State Farm, some others throughout the years have been big donors, and so it is cost-free to the district.
When students returned to their campus, they found individual helmets and safety bags that emphasized the importance of wearing a helmet in athletic and recreational activities. On average, 250 children in the United States under the age of 14 die each year from a bicycle crash. Another 300,000 are treated at emergency rooms for severe head injuries. Many of the accidents could have been prevented by the use of a helmet.
Am I on TV? helmet. It's awesome. See?
Well, Sandy, that's a great program every year, and I noticed our Bryan Mayor Jason Bianski was on hand.
He was, and since the helmets are provided to Bryan, College Station, and Navasota school districts, all three cities' mayors were there.
We may have noticed several development projects going on in the city of Bryan, including several in downtown Bryan. Here we'll give you a complete look at some of those projects. Construction equipment seems to be more and more commonplace every day in Bryan, which is a good thing. New projects and updated buildings are exciting for our community. There are several different projects in the downtown area, starting with an entrance to downtown. The Shell station at the corner of William Joel Bryan and Texas Avenue has been torn down and replaced with this shopping center. Once it's finished, the gas station will return and retailers will fill the other available space. City staff has been working with this project since '07, and when it's completed, the new building should be a nice gateway to downtown. Across the street is more construction, an update to the county courthouse. Elements on the outside of the building are being updated to improve the look and safety of the building. If you move south on Texas Avenue, it won't take long to find the next big project, the downtown parking garage. The garage's accompanying office space is now finished and work is started on the actual parking structure. A few more blocks south is a building that most recently was a Kia auto dealership, and now that facility will be Caliber Collision Center. That body shop should be open soon. And across town near the Kroger Shopping Center, new restaurant Tony Roma's is expected to be open at the end of March. That restaurant will feature their famous ribs, seafood, and steaks.
Well, Alan, with the Bryan ISD office in the downtown area, we know what parking is like, so we'll be glad to see that done.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. And the tentative plan right now is for the garage portion of that project to be done by January of 2012.
Well, 5 of our talented high school artists have recently had some work showcased in a competition in Houston.
5 talented art students from Bryan and Rudder High Schools who recently attended the Regional Visual Arts Scholastic event in Conroe qualified 6 art pieces for the upcoming state competition in Houston. The Texas Art Education Association sponsors the competition, which is the only art event of its kind in the nation.
A large number of schools competed and presented their artwork. Students actually had to talk to judges and talk about their pieces and show it to them. In the past, we've had Goldfield winners, so we're hoping we have another. Goldfield is the highest honor, and so we hope we have another Goldfield winner.
You know, it originally started off as just a regular cat on a drawing, and I'm like, I want to do something more and get my hands dirty and mess around, do something unique. So I thought, like, maybe if I added wires to it, and I'm like, what if I did robotic? I was like, okay. So I did that. I wanted it to kind of have a feel of realistic, so I did the front half and tried to get all the muscle tones and whatnot into it, try to get the angry effect with the face and stuff. I came along with some problems along the way. When it was drying, it kind of cracked. So I went with it and just added staples to it, you know, to prevent the cracks from getting bigger. So it actually looked neat when I did it. You can get the robotic feel, as some gears and stuff. And the mice is just kind of, they're there to support it. And when I go to state, I think the highest I can get is a gold seal, which I hope it gets.
I took a self-portrait of myself, and it was done in charcoal. Well, I drew thumbnails, and then I took a photo of it, and then I graphed it from the photo, and then I colored it with charcoal.
It's a self-portrait of me, and I have Japanese clothing and Japanese items around me. And it's Prismacolor on sulfite paper.
My piece was like a religious piece, you know? It had like, it was the feet of Jesus with like materialistic items to his feet, and I was trying to like spread a message through that art piece that the world's becoming too materialistic and it's becoming too dependent on that. And people would rather put that kind of material over religious, you know?
Okay, my first piece was a charcoal piece of a hand model. And I just did that one in class. I think it took me about 2 weeks to do. And it was just an assignment. We had to do either a hand model or a human model, and I like hands a lot. And I like being able to focus on smaller details. So that's why I like the hand. Yeah, it took me about 2 weeks, and I just used charcoal pencils, and I used a grid on it. And so it was a lot easier for me to just focus on shading the shading of the hand and not so much the form, because I had the lines to help me out with that. The other piece was my portrait of my friend Nathan, who he's my drum major in band, and he's a really funny kid. And I wanted to do a portrait of someone brushing their teeth, and I came up with that probably a couple months ago, just because I like how people look doing normal things. And I used soft pastels, so it's more like a chalky medium, but it's really, really bright colors. And so I darkened, like the actual art piece is a lot different from the picture color-wise, because I darkened it a whole lot, because I wanted to bring out a lot of color, because that medium is really bright and it's really neat for that kind of thing. So that's what I did, and that took me a longer time, probably like a month or so, because I didn't use the grid on that, and so it wasn't as easy to get proportions right. So I spent a lot of time on the sketching phase of it.
From an artistic nature, any student, anytime you're presenting a competition or if for a museum or anything, that builds your resume and it allows you to show that off to colleges and even to museums, because anytime you have a list of places you've shown your pieces, you can put that on your resume and it makes you look more impressive.
Well, Sandy, we don't know how those students fared at the state competition in Houston. How can we find that out?
Well, as soon as we get the results, we'll have that information on our Bryan ISD website, and we'll also showcase pictures of their entries on our Facebook page.
Recently, the City of Bryan's police department honored their top officers at their annual banquet. In a room full of police professionals and their families, a few select employees stood out during Bryan PD's annual awards banquet. Before the awards were handed out, Brigadier General Joe Ramirez, Jr., the new commandant for A&M's Corps of Cadets, gave an impassioned speech about family and service to others. Later in the evening, Crossing Guard Billy Smith was honored as Civilian of the Year. Corey Owens took home Field Training Officer honors. Marlon Krause won the Reserve Officer of the Year. Travis Hines was Detective of the Year. And David Slanker was honored as Supervisor of the Year. And the biggest prize of the evening, Officer of the Year, went to Alice Anderson.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today. I'm Sandy Ferris.
And I'm Alan Brugman. Thanks for watching.